Today we're going to be painting either a dog or a cat, depending on what you have brought to the table today. I am going to do a cat, and I will show you two samples that I did. I have a little dog on a teacup, which I am not going to be painting. And then I have a cat, and I'm going to do this particular one. Now, because you all have different pets, we are going to have to improvise, and I'll try to show you how to mix as many of the colors as I can. And I don't know what colors you actually have, so you may be able to use a broader number than I do, but I'll show you how to mix the basic ones. I have black, blue, red, yellow, and white. And the first thing I'm going to do is to put out my colors on my palette. So if you could do that for me. If you have a brown or a gold or a yellow ochre or a different color pet, you want, and you do have that color, you can also put that out now. Okay. Now, I'm sure you have your own size of brushes, and there's no particular size that you specifically need. However, here are some of the brushes I might use. I have a 1/2 inch flat brush. I have a detail brush. I think that's the most important one if you have a nice small brush. And these are 1/4 inchers. They work very well. Or if you have round brushes, that'll work perfectly. This is a filbert, that also will work. So as long as you have a brush, you should be good to go. And I'm using 11 by 14 canvas, but any size canvas that you have is perfectly fine. I have some paper towel on my table, and I have a water container. This is the cat that I will be painting today. I wish I could see all of your pets, but I guess that would be pretty difficult. So I'll show you how to do the transfer. I made a photocopy. This is as big as I could get it, so that's fine. We'll make it work. And I have a copy of a cat here. And this is the cat. This is the cat with ears that I had to draw in. And you can see the back. I had to improvise because I didn't have this part on the photocopy, but that's okay. We can do that. So the first thing that we're going to do is to take the cat that you are going to put on your canvas, and turn it over. And using your pencil, you will scribble nice and tight on the back of this particular piece. So I think I'm going to start that, and you could start it too, please. And this will be the transfer.
Do you transfer it onto the canvas?
Yes, we're going to transfer it onto the canvas. Once we've got this on, I'll show you how that's done, unless, yes.
What if you want to make your picture bigger and then you just sketch it?
Yes, please. You can just sketch it.
Where were you?
Valerie, we have a question from the chat. I can read it out loud. If we can use graphite paper for this step?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, you can. Okay. So once you have finished that, you can go to your canvas and place the cat where you think you might like to have it, or the dog, of course. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline the cat and the colors. Now, depending on your particular pet, yours will look different from mine. And but just put it in as best you can, and then we'll paint in parts that we can't sketch in. Just a little contour drawing. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to start drawing the cat onto the canvas. Just can you see that there is an image now coming onto the canvas?
So are you pressing quite hard then?
Yes, and I'm sort of semi-scribbling too. So that my line is thicker. I don't know if you can see my line, but I'm making the line a little bit thicker so that you can see it more easily and get the transfer coming off. I'm putting in the cat's toes. Now, the back of my cat is not here, so I'm going to have to sketch it on. And I'm going to have to put the tail in. And I don't have the ears completely, so I am putting in ears. Half an ear. Once I've contoured the body, then I'm going to put in the face. And I'm paying particular attention to the eyes. How's it coming?
Going
Good.
good. Going good.
Yeah.
You can check the quality of your line just by lifting it off and taking a look to see how it's looking. Can you see it clearly? Once you have the drawing on your canvas, you can, if you don't feel that it's dark enough for you, you can go over the sketch with your pencil. If you have a particularly furry pet, we will do the fur as we go. We're going to do a base coat first, and then we'll put in all the fluff. Mine is sitting on the floor, but so I'm just going to make a little division here between the wall and the floor for the background. Oh, I forgot the cat's eyeball. That would be not good. Now you can make your background look realistic, but I like the idea of just having it very colorful. So the first thing we're going to do is put on the background. So you can decide on your own background color. I think what I'll do is this time I'll do this part of the wall, I'll do it blue. And this lower part I'll do blue, and the center part I'll do red. So in order to do that, I'll just wet my brush and then take out the water and start painting a bit. Now I know we all paint at different speeds, so don't feel panicked if you are not at the same spot that I might be at. If you feel like it might be a bit hairy to try and do the painting close to the pet with a bigger brush, you can take a smaller brush and just outline it first. The other thing is, because this is acrylic paint, if you get some of the background color into the pet, it doesn't matter, because once it dries, you can go right over it. So I'll show you this part here where I'm just outlining it a little bit if it makes you more comfortable. But anyway, if you go into the lines, it really makes no difference. It won't show later anyway. It's one of the reasons that I like acrylic paint. It's so forgiving. You can do almost anything. I'm using a 1/2 inch brush right now. My blue is phthalo blue, but any blue that you bring to this is fine. I don't dip my brush into the water while I'm painting. I use the water simply to clean my brush. The reason I put the background on first is that once I start doing the hairs and the feathery parts of the fur, it'll go onto the background. And then if you did the background later, it would be harder. It would be hard to go around the fluff. Starting to look pretty good. If there is time at the end, we will paint the edges. Right now, we're going to just concentrate on the surface part. once you wash the brush, you can dry it with a piece of paper towel. I'm just going to put in the red. I'll have a red floor. Maybe it's a red carpet. Now, around the feet, if you're having some hesitation, do go to your detail brush. That's better. There, I hope you're loving what you're seeing on your canvas. Now, I think we should paint in the dark parts of the pet first. So everybody has a different colored pet. This one is black and an orangey color and white. If you have a white pet, you will paint white with maybe a little tinge of black or a little tinge of blue to give it that shadowy look. And we'll only put pure white on the fur that sticks up. So you'll see as I go where I'll do that. If you have a different color pet, go from the darkest color. Now, if you need brown, in order to mix brown, you will need red, blue, and yellow, and then depending how dark, you can add a drop of black. So I'm going to mix that color just so that you can see what it looks like. So I'll make a brown by using a little bit of red, a little bit of blue. This is kind of a dark purpley color. And to make it a little bit lighter, I can add a touch of yellow. Can you see how dark that is? It's kind of a dark brown. If you have a light brown pet, you can add a touch of white. If you have a grayish pet, I washed my brush, so I'm going to just dry it. And then I always go with the lighter color first. So I'll get some white and a touch of black, very light. And here's kind of a silvery gray. If you need a bit darker, can add a little more black. And darker than that, a little more like that. So if you would like to mix the darkest color of your pet right now, since mine is black, I will just put the black on, just in the parts where the cat is actually black. A 1/4-inch brush, if you have one, will work quite nicely for those smaller areas.
Valerie, if the only black is around their eyes, do you do that now too, or?
No, we don't touch the eyes yet. Just the big flat parts of the pet. So I'll show you with my brush. I will do this part where I'll do the ears, even though the inside of the ears is going to be a sort of a pinkishy gray, but I'm just going to paint it flat. This is like the undercoat. So I'm going to put the black here and then just in the spots. But the eyes we'll leave for later after we have the whole cat painted. The eyes are the magical parts. Now we're all going to be coming at this with a different amount of time that it takes to do your underpainting, because you may need to do a lot more than I do here in terms of my darks. Now I'm finished mine, but that doesn't mean you're finished yours. So there are a couple of things we can do. You can dry it with a hair dryer if you happen to have one close by. And I'll show you how to mix a few other colors depending on what you need for your pet. So I'll just make some noise here while I dry cat. I'm going to just get a little bit of red and some yellow. Oop, there. And if you need less of a bright color, more yellow. If you want to dull it down, a little bit of gray. Or white. Makes a little bit of a beige tone. Does anybody have any other needs? Any other colors that you need? Any requests? Okay. So I'm going to paint in the orangey parts of my cat here. If you have important parts around the face which are hard to get at, don't hesitate to switch to your detail brush. So for my pet, we're going to need a color that is close to white but is not white. So I believe I'll use a little bit of light grayish just for the shadow parts. Actually, there really isn't any reason why I can't just paint the whole cat that color and then bring the white on top of that later when I need it. I think that might work. So take your lightest color and add a touch of the darker one. That's a little dark. There we go. I'm leaving the face just for now. I just realized that there's a little piece of the orange I didn't put in. Okay. So now very carefully, I'm going to put some parts of the face with the shadow color. Between the two sides of my cat's face, there's real white, so I'm going to leave that as white for now, and I'll put in white in a minute, and I'll go around the mouth and not paint that in. I'm going to just do that with the other colors in a minute. And I'm being a little careful around the eyes. There we go. Okay. Looking good. I'm going to start putting in the whites. For me, you may not have much white, I'm not sure. Just on the face.
If there are two layers of white that overlap each other, like, you know, between, let's say, the chin and the chest area, would you make it two different shades of gray?
Yes.
So the chest darker and then the chin a little bit lighter, and then you'll save the white till the end. Is that right?
Yes, I'll show you right now what I'm going to do in terms of that getting the white on. I'll come back to it, of course, again, but just once the two areas, I'm leaving the pencil so I can see where it is. And I'm just going to, using the brush, I'll be doing a little bit of hairs. Can you see what I did? I don't know how clear that is for you.
Yep. Thank you.
Again, if you can, could you dry the face? Well, you could dry all of it, but the face would be good to dry. My eye outline is black with my detail brush. And my pupils will be black. While I've got the black on my brush, I'm just going to make the mouth and the tiny line going up to the nose. I'm going to outline this nose in pink. If you have a dog, it may not be pink, and some cats don't have pink. Could be black or gray, so. But here's my pink. Now, because I have this tiny bit of pink mixed already, I'll put some in the ears with a small brush.
So if I have a cat with a black nose on a black fur, am I outlining the nose in a gray?
Yes, something lighter, much lighter.
And with the eyes, her eyes are like yellow. Do I do the yellow first and then the pupil?
No, I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to do the pupil first. Do you have it's a cat, right? Does it have eyes that are slits up and down?
They're sort of like oval shaped, sort of, and rounded. The eyes are round, the pupils are round.
Kind of like this one or different?
Mm, but
If
not-
it looks like it's going to be difficult to do the eye color around the black, then just do it all the eye color first, and then you can put the black in after.
Okay, thank you.
If the black is dry in the pupil, mine is not 100% dry, but it's getting there, then interestingly enough, we'll do the little glints in the eye, the reflections. And I do that, I think it always looks really nice if you put 3 dots in the eye. So I have my detail brush in my hands. I'm putting, instead of just the one that you often see, sometimes if you put 3, it actually makes it look more alert.
My cat never looked alert.
This is the chance, right? I'm going to mix some green because, so I'm going to take some yellow and some blue and just mix up a tiny bit of green for the eye. My black smudged a little bit, but I can wait till it dries and then come back again. Just going to dry that eye. If you lost the eye outline because the pet area there is black, you can take a tiny, tiny bit of white and just outline it a little bit in white, just to differentiate. Now, you could put the little outline of the toes I'm going to start putting in a little bit of the hair, the fluffy parts. In my case, I will need white. I'm not sure, you may need pale gray if it's black, then I'm just going to do the side of the face here where I have black to show you what that looks like. Just to rough it up a bit, start painting from the inside towards the background. And you could put a tiniest bit of another color, like a little bit of gray, or just to show that it's a little bit rougher because it's a little harder to see. And I'm going to start putting in white around the body. Make sure there's no water in your brush. Okay. And I'm going to turn my brush so that I'm not going straight out. I'm coming at it in a bit of a curve. You can exaggerate it a little bit to make it look hairier. And in the parts where you're going from the light towards the dark, go from the lighter towards the dark. Now it's kind of a ruffle of white on my cat here on the chest. So I'm going to take the white and sort of follow the pattern of the fur. It's okay to exaggerate it a little bit.
Sorry, maybe you said, is that a special kind of brush to do the fur?
This is a very ordinary brush. No, I'm not using a special brush. It's just a 1/4 inch brush.
Okay.
If it's not making the pattern, then dry it very well, wash it, dry it very well, and then pull the bristles apart a little bit.
Okay.
If it's not working for you, use your detail brush. But here I am drying this and I'm pulling it apart. And then you can hold the bristle. Can you see how I'm holding that? I've
Yeah.
opened the brush
Yeah.
and you can dip in there and
Oh, you're sort of grabbing the paint and pushing it back?
yes, I'm grabbing the brush end so that it splits it apart. And then I'm tapping the paint just on the ends. And then I'm still holding it and I'm brushing There. Does that help?
Terrific, thanks.
Now the orange part of my fur, I'm going to remix that orange a little bit and add a little white to it. And then take the excess paint off the brush and see if I can soften up the fur here at the edges so there's no hard line. And also go right into the part of the black in my case because I have this black patch. Now back to the detail brush. I'm going to make my whiskers. Not sure how many she has, but it's kind of hard to see from my photograph. Just a little, the tiniest bit will give you that impression. You don't need a lot, very minimal. If your pet has little bits of hair just above the eye, you could put a couple of these little bits here for the dog. The detailing can go on and on as much as you like to do with it. That's really the super fun part. But I don't want you to forget to sign your work. And you can sign it with, doesn't have to be black. It could be red, it could be gray, it could be white. You can put your signature on while you've got your detail brush in your hand. Or you can sign it with a black permanent marker. I wonder if I could ask you, later on, you can do the edges, but now I'm wondering if you'd be kind enough to hold up your painting for me to see.
Whoa. Mm.
Valerie,
Yes,
I'm gonna have to go. I have another appointment at 11 o'clock. So thank you very much.
thank you. Thank you for joining me.
Yes. Now I'm gonna paint all my other cats.
Oh, this is the start of something great.
And my daughter has two, so. Okay, I'll finish.
Thank you. I also have to go, but that was fun.
Thanks very much.